Hello, everyone. My name is Dominique Velger. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to our debt repayment strategies. And I am the Community Engagement Specialist at Harvard University Employees Credit Union. And I am with my co-host, Terrence. Introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Terrence Brazil. I'm also a community engagement specialist at Harvard University Employees Credit Union, and I'm very happy to be here to talk about debt repayment strategies. Thank you, Dominique.
All right, we're going to go off camera so you guys can enjoy this webinar. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about the credit union. So the credit union is a not-for-profit. So we really put our members first. And as a member, that member really just is a part of the credit union. They own the credit union. So without the members, really, the credit union would not exist. So one of the things we really do and try to really make an impact is providing better services. We operate just like a bank. We have, checking, savings, CDs, and loans, all these different things. And then we also make sure that we give back to the community and really just make sure that we're pouring into the community. We're just not here taking up any kind of space or anything like that. One of the things that we have at the credit union is we have a lot of financial wellness. We have Thrive, which is our free financial counseling. So when you go on huecu.org/thrive, and Terrence will put that in the chat and any other links in the chat so that you all can have access to them as well. And throughout this process, you can also put in questions in the Q&A. So with Thrive, we provide a lot of counseling, like I said before, blogs, we have different workshops, and a lot of videos, just little things to really different topic matters and calculators that you can just do all online. And I wanted to remind you that this is America Saves Week, which is why we're doing this webinar today. And we're going to talk about all the different debt repayment strategies. And you can also join us tomorrow at noon. It's saving at any age, and there's still time to register. So you can go on huecu.org/America-Saves. So we'll have a panel of different people. So one is an early career person. The other person will be mid-career, and the other person is sort of closer to retirement. And they'll share a lot of their tips and different strategies about how they save, different things they've learned all around, their life and their course of their careers to kind of help you navigate your saving strategies as well. And I wanted to remind a lot of people, if you haven't heard, we do have a new branch at the Longwood Medical area, and it's right underneath the Joslin Diabetes Center. And it's also near the Sweet Greens. It's near the Beth Israel West campus. So definitely stop by and pay us a visit. We'd love to see you. And next week, we're also doing a virtual home buying forum, and it will span 4 days. So whatever day you can join us would be great. There's still time to register, and that's at huecu.org/home-forum. We'll have a variety of different panelists, and we'll also record it, and it will be on our YouTube channel. And you can catch a lot of the segments on my HUECU on YouTube as well. Now, let's get started. So I'm going to send it over to Terrence, and Terrence will take it over from here.
Thank you so much, Dominique. So for step one, we're really going to actually define what your goals are. And if possible, I would like to ask everyone to use the Q&A feature to list what are some of your goals. And if you're not comfortable with that, please write them down personally and keep them in mind as you go through this presentation. So step one, defining the goals, and that will frame the rest of our discussion as far as paying off debt. Now, next is aligning your priorities. Aligning your priorities is taking a look at, okay, do I want to save time? Do I want to save money? Do I want to save an interest? Do I want to take the money that I'm repositioning or restructuring that is my debt, and what is the goal that I want to ultimately achieve with that. And now, as you are in the next slide, you are here. As this is the beginning, this is the roadmap, this is the first step in the journey to paying off the debt. We're going to look at what you owe, what is your credit score, and the ultimate cost of your debt, and how we can come up with some strategies to save you some time and or money along the way. Now, the example that we have here, we have two different loans. One is 10,000 at 7.5% for 120 months, and the other one is 5,000 at 18% for 60 months. Pretty substantial loans, but on face value, $15,000 doesn't seem like it's that much. When in reality, it's not just the $15,000 that you're paying back. You're also paying back almost 7 grand in interest, which is a significant amount of money to really be losing to your lender or whoever loaned you the money in the first place. Now, I'm showing this slide because I want to get that visceral reaction from you that, oh, that kind of hurts. That's a lot of money going out of my pocket. And over the course of this presentation, we're going to go over two main ways to take that initial feeling away and restructure it into a feeling of hope to say, wow, I can actually do this and get the most out of my debt. Now, I know inflation's high right now, and we're talking about debt, and it's not exactly a fun place to be right now. So, as we're talking about this debt, I really want to drive home the importance of having an emergency fund. And I know it can be difficult. I want to fully acknowledge that, but it's necessary to start small and build. Even if you can't hit your monthly goal or your monthly amount of how much you want to save month to month, even if you do fail, there is hope. And that's the main point I really want to drive home during this presentation. There's still hope no matter where you are in your debt repayment journey. And as we talked about previously, starting small and calculating 3 to 6 months, once you find out where you are, figure out how much you need to save for 3 months to have 3 months of expenses. So that way, in case anything does happen, you're not putting yourself in more debt. We can go on to the next slide, Dominic. Step 2. So for step 2, debt repayment strategies, Dominique and I are going to split this a little bit. We're going to have two different methods. One's going to be the snowball method, and one's going to be the avalanche method. And these are not by all means the only strategies, but there are two that do work in achieving the same goal, but their approaches will be different. I'm going to kick it over to Dominique now to talk about the snowball method.
So this is the one that I pretty much use. I mean, that's the thing about having these kind of webinars. We give you different scenarios that will probably work for you and some will not, but you at least have different choices. So the snowball one really focuses on that small amount of debt. So you think, okay, here are my debts. Which one should I really attack first so I can really achieve the goal that I want to? So what you want to do is you want to make that minimum payment each month. And then you put an extra payment on that smaller loan or credit card. And then once you pay that off, you move on to the next smaller loan amount. Terrence?
Yes. So as Dominic mentioned, that's a snowball method. And I personally, there's nothing against it, but I like doing things a little bit differently. I like the avalanche method. I like when things fall down and go explosions. I'm a guy, whatever. So the avalanche method focuses on the highest interest rate first. Whatever that 18% is, that 20% loan is, whatever the highest is, you start tackling that first and you make the minimum monthly payment. And if you can, you even make a little bit of extra payments to save some interest on the loan. And once that's paid off, you take all of that money that you're paying on that first highest interest rate loan and tack it on to the second one. Thus, paying it down even faster and keep it going until you fully get down to the smallest interest loan possible.
All right. And this is like just another way to kind of really show you and demonstrate how this works. So the snowball, again, starts small, and then you can kind of go and hit the big guys at the end.
And I actually like to look at this almost like and turn it on its head, an upside down triangle, because that's how it makes sense for me. And that's something I really want to drive home too. There's no right or wrong way. There's no one solution that fits all for debt management. And I want everyone to feel comfortable with that, because Dominique and I will go back and forth in terms of repaying our debt. And I like my debt avalanche method. I really do feel like it works. A little goes a long way. In this example, one more, Dominique, we're going to talk about the addition of $25 and how the difference it makes over time. In this scenario, we have a $10,000 loan at 7% with a base monthly payment of $200 and a total interest paid of almost $1,900. Now, in addition, adding in just $25 to that 200 saves you saves you about $200 in total interest. It actually knocks down that loan term 8 months to 52 months. And Dominique will talk about the next one.
And just adding that extra, $50, you're paying an interest of about a little bit over 1,400, and then in turns, you will only have about 46 months to pay that $10,000 loan off at the 7% rate.
Know your options. Now, I know we've presented a couple different, we haven't actually presented real options just yet, but I want to do a little bit of an attempt check and recap a little bit before we go on to the next one. We talked about different strategies as far as snowball and avalanche, and we are discussing what the goals are. Now, in step 3, we're going to talk about the options to achieve those goals. Next slide, please, Dominique. And that's talking with the lender. Speak with the decision maker. See if you can, hey, can I possibly have a new interest rate? Can I renegotiate my payment structure? Maybe my credit score has gone up and changed since the time when I initially got my loan. And and for me to get the best bang or the most value and the less cash flow out of me, it's actually having a conversation with that lender. And keep a paper trail. 100% keep a paper trail. Either it's emails or notes, so that way, in case anything happens with your servicer, if your loan gets shifted over to a new person, you're able to keep track of it, and there should be no shifts. If it could happen, we're all human, mistakes happen, but keeping a paper trail covers yourself and your loan. Now, refinancing. This is something I really want to analyze a little bit closer and discuss. Some of the benefits of refinance. Well, first off, let me define what refinancing is. Refinancing is taking a loan that will pay off your previous loan with new terms. And those new terms can be a different interest rate or lower interest rate, or extending out the term so that way you have a lower monthly payment month to month. Now, some of the benefits of that extended loan terms is really what I said, lower monthly payments. And typically there's no fees with this. And I, in a previous life, was a mortgage loan officer, and I would have multiple people come in, especially during times that were hard, to say, hey, can I add on an extra 5 years to my mortgage? Because right now I just can't afford a monthly payment. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, we can definitely do that. There was a small application fee, but if every person that came in was on a case-by-case basis. And that's what I really want to enunciate. Talking with your lender and expressing your concerns and where you are financially, 9 times out of 10, they do want your business and they want to stay with you, and they will work something out with you. Some of the benefits of refinancing are, actually, no, Dominique, I'll give this one over to you.
Really, it's about trying to save some time and money. So look at this loan for $10,000, for example. So this person's making, the $200 payments for about 60 months at 7%. They're paying an average of about $1,800 in interest. You don't want to give these people your money. You want to save that money for yourself. Now, look at it, this same $10,000 loan at 5%. So the person's like making $189 on this loan, and their interest rate all of a sudden dropped to, they're paying about $1,300, and the same term it's 60 months. So if they just continue paying the same $200, but now at 5% of the interest rate, that interest totally dropped to $1,200, a little over $1,200. And of course, the terms of that, instead of 60 months, it's 57 months. And so they're not only saving in time, they're also saving money. And that extra money could go, say, for emergency expenses, as well as just for any savings. Also, I wanted to continue to let you guys know, please put any of your questions or any comments in the Q&A section as we go along. We'll stop and answer them for you as well.
Beautiful. And I do want to add in a little bit to what Dominique was saying. I really want to take a look and analyze this. This $10,000 loan, it can be broken up in 3 different ways, and there's significant difference in the interest that is paid and saved and the term just by changing the interest rate. And that's mind-blowing to me. I don't know, I'm a bit of a finance nerd, a finance geek, but there's the different intricacies of the impact and how interest rates impact loans and interest over time. Really interesting to me. And it's important to know, especially for increasing your cash flow. Okay.
And of course, there are some things that to consider before you refinance. The interest rate, yikes. You want to make sure that you compare all of the interest rate. See if is it fixed? Is it variable? Is it a hybrid? What has been your experience, Terrence?
So my experience, they are very, very different. And you want to be able to compare apples to apples in terms of a fixed interest rate. Fixed interest rates usually mean that the loan interest rate will stay the same over the life of the loan, whether it's 30 years, 5 years, 6, whatever, what have you. That loan interest rate is staying the same versus a variable, which will change either from year to year or a predetermined amount of time before it's set to kind of mature and say, all right, you were at, let's say 0% for this introductory period. And now that 12 months is over, you're now at 12% or 6%. And that's something you need to know, because if you're not prepared for that shift, that bill that comes in, it's going to be surprising. Especially with the hybrid loan as well, where it's a little bit of both. This is more for these adjustable rate mortgages. I'm not going to go too much into it. If you want to learn some specifics, I would reach out to one of our mortgage loan professionals, and they can talk to it a little bit more. But that hybrid it's fixed for one period, and then it changes after that. And some of the benefits associated with those original loan types are each loan will have its own benefits, but before you go ahead and refinance, look to see what benefits are already built into that original loan. Because if you refinance, you might actually lose out on some of the benefits that you like. And even if it's a reduced interest rate, you might, for example, student loans right now, student loans have a built-in benefit that where if the federal government comes in and says, hey, we had a pandemic, we're going to pause everything. If you had actually refinanced your loan to a private lender, you wouldn't be able to take part of the built-in benefit of having a loan being paused on deferment. And credit scores also play a factor as well. Higher the credit score, lower the interest rate. And even if your credit score does change over time, it might be a good chance to review it periodically to say, hey, I qualify for a lower interest rate.
Now, if you have a private loan, that will change it as well. So what Terrence was talking about was specifically about federal student loans, which we want to let you know, please don't do anything drastic, leave it as is until the government figure out what they want to do with the federal student loans. But if you do have a private loan and you can see what the interest rate will be, if it's going to be beneficial to you, then you can proceed accordingly. But if you have a federal one, just leave it be. Someone has a question in the Q&A. They said, you want to talk out? You want me to ask a question? You can really answer. Okay. They said, can you talk about debt consolidation loans that requests you to close your credit cards?
Yes, I can definitely talk about that. We will be talking about debt consolidation loans further in the presentation. But just to get a little bit of a teaser before we get there, there are two different types of debt consolidation loans. There's one where there's a debt management plan, there's a debt settlement plan, and there's debt consolidation. With a debt management plan, they do require you to close off that credit card, and there are some risks associated with that where you are closing out that line. And if it's a
Mhm.
long line, it may actually negatively impact your credit score. I would contact our partner, GreenPath. There's a slide coming up pretty soon to get some more specific answers and the best way to go about it that's good for your unique situation. Oh, perfect. Look for lower rates. Here we go. So personal loans, I would suggest them if they're a great way to restructure your debt. Let's say, not even let's say, I had, I think, two or three different credit cards at one time, and I was making multiple different payments. And honestly, it was a lot for me. So I considered a personal loan, and I was able to take the balances that I had on those multiple different credit cards. Instead of making multiple different payments, I just paid it all off, and I made one payment that I was able to stretch over 5 years to my personal loan, and it was a lot easier for me, honestly. It was like $200 a month, and I stretched it out so long as opposed to trying to manage all my different credit cards, my car insurance, my car payment. Maybe sometimes a personal loan does work, but I will say if you are using one of those personal loans to pay off credit cards, I wouldn't use a credit card at the same time because that's putting yourself back in more debt as you're managing trying to get out of debt. We talked about refinancing loans, mortgage refinancing. I'm not going to go too much into detail with that. I would talk with one of our a specialist. Auto refinancing rates right now are super, super high. Inflation super, super high. I wouldn't consider refinancing right now unless you have a loan that's before the pandemic and it was like 12 or 15% and you see a deal, jump on it. But if not, I would leave it alone right now once inflation starts to cool down. And student loan refinancing, the same thing. I wouldn't touch it right now. There's a lot going on with the government. It wouldn't try to move anything right now. Now, those debt consolidation loans or credit card balance transfers, actually, I'll talk about the credit card balance transfer. Those are a little bit tricky where there's usually an introductory period for a certain amount of time where you get 0%. And it's during that time it's dangerous. You do get the benefit of having no interest, so you're not actually accruing more debt, but there's the catch 22 and the danger of, hey, one credit card is paid off, but if you start to use it, then you now have two different credit cards. And then when that introductory period ends, you might actually find yourself in more debt. And that's what we really don't want.
Another thing that I know someone I know who does that, and I actually started using that same method. Once you pay it off, put it in a Ziploc bag and stick the credit card in the freezer. By the time it
That's,
thaws out, you would have changed your mind about using it anyway.
I'm telling you, that works. That's a good method because sometimes I want to
Yes.
buy stuff on Amazon and they ask you for a credit card. That's another tip I want to bring up too. Do not have your credit card information or debit card information saved on those sites. It, I know Google, Firefox, everything wants to make it easy, one click buy. Don't do it. It's a trap. They are doing everything in their power to get you to spend your money as easy as possible. If you use Dominique's method and you put it in a freezer, by the time that thaws out, like she said, you're not going to want it anymore.
Nope, 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 nope. Someone has something in the Q&A. They said, I'm trying to decide between keeping money in savings in the back versus paying off a loan with low interest rate.
So savings, well, keeping money in savings. Well, first I want to make sure if you do have an emergency fund, make sure it's at least 3 to 6 months. And honestly, this may not be the best answer or the answer you want to hear, but you want to have them running parallel. So that way, when emergencies do happen, you have that fallback because emergencies will happen. And it's unfortunate. Those flat tires, those
Mhm.
surprise bills that show up in the mail, those random tolls that are you're not paying for that suddenly went from $2.60 to $150 that you now need to pay so you can get your registration renewed. That's why
Yes, that's
that's
important.
very that's might be a little personal, but yes, it does happen. And sometimes you don't want to rely on your credit card to get you out of the situations because that's a trap. It's another trap. It's the best thing to do is to have it run parallel, even if it's just $20 and $20, it will set you up for success over the long term. It's a sprint, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
I put
And
this in the chat for everybody.
thank you so much, Dominique. This is Green Path, one of the partners that we've been talking about and hinting on throughout this entire presentation. They are a great partner and a great resource that we offer to all of our membership free of charge. You're able to call them, and they do have extended business hours and not just a regular 9 to 5. I think it's like 10 to 6, it's like 7
They're on
a.m. to
Central
6
Time,
p.m.
yes. Mm-hmm.
And they will actually take your call, and what they'll do is they'll sit down with you if you want, and they'll look at your budget to see, hey, how much money do you have coming in, how much money do you have going out, what your bills are, and you can talk to say, you know what, I'm struggling with this one credit card. The interest rate has gotten so high, and they're able to negotiate on your behalf with that lender if it's in their partner to say, you know what, Terrence, he's been struggling. Can we negotiate down to a lower interest rate? It's not always guaranteed, but they will offer some recommendations to help you. Great, great, great resource.
And to add to what Taryn just said, so they speak over 130 different languages. They are available Monday through Saturday. They have varied hours, obviously. Check what will work for you. And they're really here just to help you. You can just a phone call away, or just go and click on the link that I put on in the chat.
Oh, thank you so much, Dominique.
Now we want to talk about what Terrence mentioned. Oops, let me go back. Debt management plan. So what is the debt management plan? Well, what it does is it helps to reduce the interest rate on the debt, right? And one of the things that they also do is before they get started, they really want to talk to you so they can really better provide the financial counseling that you will need for your specific situation. And so if you have, say, for example, 5 credit cards or 5 loans that you're trying to target and really manage, it's $10 each. The max they can charge here in Massachusetts is $75 for all of your debt or credit cards. And the debt management plan really is not the same as debt settlement. And Terrence will talk about that next.
So with this is an example of one of our Green Path partners who, a member, it's completely anonymous, was able to pay off their unsecured debt. I'm assuming that's a credit card, 40 months sooner and save $32,000. Now, this is an example of someone who, I don't know if everybody can identify with this, but I personally can. When I'm making payments on my loans or my credit cards, it feels like everything's going towards the interest. And I hate that. I'll make $600 payments, $500 payments, and all of a sudden I'll see my balance go down like 20, $30. I wonder
Yep.
what's going on? Why am I
It's
paying
like a
all this
slow
money?
moving treadmill.
Seriously. I'm looking for that avalanche. I want it to fall all at once. I want a big explosion. I want to pay off my debt in a big way. So these loans are actually designed to be interest first because they have a shelf life of like 7 years, all the nitty gritty, blah, 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 blah. But with GreenPath, this member is actually able to renegotiate, restructure that so that way it's not all going towards the interest. It's now all going towards the principal. And now, even though there's a service fee associated with this, $50, it was 5 lines, the difference is now the bulk of your payment, while it might be the same, is now going directly towards paying down that principal. And that's significantly more powerful and more powerful in terms of saving money and more powerful in saving time. Because as soon as you get out of debt and pay that off, there's this feeling of freedom. You can breathe again. And now you can start planning for those vacations. And I know between 2020 and 2023, I don't know if anybody has, but I am due for a vacation. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been tough, it's been stressful. I'm tired. I want to go to Cancun. If you're able to, I would definitely if a debt management plan is what you feel like is necessary for you, contact our Green Path partners and see, hey, maybe you know what, I heard this presentation, I heard Terrence talking about it, I mentioned HUECU, and see if that's the best thing for you, because it really, really can be a great option to get out of debt. You could, Dominic. So next steps, we've talked about multiple things during this presentation. We've first started off with step one, which is what are our goals, whether it's paying off debt, planning for a vacation, or just having a fun task to do with the money once it's paid off. Then we talked about step two, different strategies, snowball versus avalanche method. Snowball is paying the smallest interest rate or smallest amount first and working your way up versus the avalanche method, which is the highest interest rate first and then going and breaking it down, and a little goes a long way. We also talked about knowing your options, talking with the lender, what is refinancing, what are the benefits of refinancing, and the best ways to structure that debt so it makes sense for you and increase your cash flow. And we also ended it with a debt management plan if talking to your lender, refinancing, and some of the strategies you talked about don't work for you, a debt management plan may be the next step. I would like to ask everyone to please put something in the chat. What is something concrete that you have learned today that you can take with you to put into action today, this week, or next month? We have
Yes,
a little
please
bit of
put that in the Q&A.
Q&A. Oh, my bad. I said
That's
chat. I
okay.
meant Q&A. Please use the Q&A.
Yes, because it's a lot of information that's being thrown at you today. We just really want you to walk away with at least one thing that you can start doing to kind of help you start working towards your goal. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot, but just one thing that will just kind of get you there to that next step.
Mhm.
You can continue. No one's putting anything in the Q&A. We'll go to the next one.
Oh, I got
Oh, wait,
something.
hold on. Yes. Oh, several now.
There
Oh,
it is. Sweet. So
yay.
wait a minute, Dominique. We got it.
Okay.
These guys are
I'm too
great.
fast for my own good.
Oh, yeah. We have a great audience.
Yes. All right. You want to take the first one?
Sure. Free financial counseling is available. We'll call today to set up an appointment. Thank you so much. If you learned
Yes.
anything today, please know there is hope.
All right. Someone says pay a little extra each month and research debt management. Great
Oh,
one.
perfect. Susan Carr says, stay motivated. That is key. That is a major key. I don't know if everybody knows DJ Khaled, but that is a major key right there.
And then this person put, this week I can build out the charts that we showed just to do a better visual of what they need to work towards. That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. Looking at the numbers to see how much interest you're paying on the loans in total, it's a little scary because when you first start that $200 a month, yeah, it's whatever, no big deal, until you realize it's like $7,000. That's a lot. That's a nice vacation. It's a nice vacation.
Yes, it is. I love to vacation. I love
Mhm.
traveling. Somebody said start an emergency fund because the emergencies always happen and life always happens. And you don't want to add more stress to your life. But if you have that emergency fund around, it can really sort of cushion the blow, if you will.
And I want to touch in and really drive this home again. An emergency fund doesn't have to be everything all at once. It's step by step, it's incremental. If you know what, January, it's a hard month, $20 here. February, another $20, and keep that going until you have 3 to 6 months, something substantial. It may take you a little while, but at least having something is better than nothing.
What is that saying? Pay yourself first.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. 100%. And the next one, knowing about GreenPath is helpful. I'm so happy. If anybody does call GreenPath after this presentation, be sure to mention HUECU sent you. We love to see that because we do see the numbers. We don't see anything personal about you or your situation, but we do see how many people we're helping, and we do like to see that. Oh, and at the end of this, we please take our survey. That is huecu.org/survey. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we can improve this. And let us know if there's something that you want to see that you did not see during this presentation. We can do that as well. I'm going to put that link in the chat right now.
Oh, beat you to it.
Oh,
You know I'm fast. I'm really speedy.
I love it.
And then also wanted to let everybody know, this presentation is just really giving you guys some tips and just really to help you. We're just not always, we're not certified advisors, but we give you just these little advice for a specific situation. You really need to talk to a professional financial person, because each person's financial journey is different. And we have another one. Hold on one moment. Oh, you're welcome. Someone is thanking us for the information. You're very welcome. And wanted to remind you again, this is America Saves Week. We do have part 2 of a webinar tomorrow. That's called Saving at Any Age. And it's at noon, the same time. And you can still register, huecu.org/America-Saves. And we'll have a panel of different panelists, beginning early career, mid-career, and someone closer to retirement. And they'll share a lot of their tips and different things they've learned along the way to kind of help save money. And I'll check the Q&A again. You're welcome. Someone just thanked us.
Hold on. Before you go, I want to drive this home one more time, Dominique. The panel for America Saves, please watch it. It's going to be informative. It's going to be funny. One of the panelists, I know them personally, quality, great. If you don't learn anything during this presentation, you will at least laugh at this next panel. Saving at Any Age, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. You don't want to miss it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please join us if you can tomorrow, and at least part of it is going to be really interesting. Wait, someone else had something in there. Oh, they registered. Okay. Thank you for registering. We appreciate it. And of course, we're always doing different seminars. And another one, I know it's the interest rate is not great right now, but people still want to buy homes. I'm one of those people. And we will be hosting a virtual home buying forum. And we still have a lot of room. So please join us. And it's going to span 4 different days. So it's a lot of information. We can't just kind of cram it in at once in one day. So still register at huecu.org/home-forum. You don't want to miss it.
And I do want to acknowledge that March 10th is an affordable path to home ownership. I know right now, as Dominique mentioned, it's tough. Interest rates are high, but we do offer, we're going to talk about different possible ways, even in this economy, an affordable way to home ownership, because it's for everyone. Everyone should and deserves, if you want to be, a homeowner.
And then we break it down and really, as you can see, it's a different 4-day span, because it's just a lot of information and there's just so much to know and learn. So, we have, what's happening in the market trends with a real estate agent and an appraiser. What do they actually do? Am I just giving my money away to these people for what? Right? And then we have an attorney and a home inspector. What do they actually do when you're signing all of these papers? And then really the process, because it is a process and it really tries your patience. I'm speaking from personal experience.
It is a very long process. It's very time consuming and it's very confusing, because all these paper, like you mentioned, Dominique, all these different things to sign, it feels like you're signing your life away. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a homeowner, but I did help people throughout the process. That first packet that you get, feels like you're signing your soul away.
Absolutely. So, definitely join us. And then we'll also record them and have them on our YouTube channel, which is My HUECU. And please stay in touch with us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, when that's HUECU. And of course, I mentioned before on our YouTube channel, which is My HUECU. And visit us at all of our branches, any of our branches, Harvard Square, LMA, which is Longwood Medical Center area. Like I said earlier, we just opened some months ago.
Go to LMA. It's new. It's shiny. We got a lot of stuff going on over there.
It's just simply fabulous. So please come by and just come and say hi. And, you can also access us online. And we really appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us this afternoon.
Okay, I hope everyone has learned something, and I hope everyone feels empowered, everyone feels hopeful, and they're ready to pay down some debts. I know it's a little
Yes,
bit boring, but hey, we're gonna do it. We're gonna repurpose that money. We're gonna have fun with it.
and we will stick with our New Year's resolution to really take baby steps to
Oh,
become debt
yes.
free and really have the financial freedom that we all would like to have.
One more thing in the Q&A. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for participating. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for attending. And thank you for being kind to yourselves and being here.
Have a great afternoon, everyone.